Hi, welcome back to Microsoft Ignite. I'm Rik Hepworth, and with me are Raymond and Paula for a session that, we will be honest, we didn't know we were doing. We're standing here at the Cloud for All community engagement event. We've just been talking to Mark Januszkiewicz. Paula, what does the term Cloud for All mean to you?
Well, there are plenty of meanings actually, but in general, when I think about that, especially being at the Microsoft event, means that we all maybe need to migrate to the cloud, but for me personally, it means that we here have a nice cloud of people. So it's like we are meeting up everywhere, like usually in the world, and this is really the final location where we can all actually integrate. So this is what Cloud for All means for me, so that we are here in a community space. So cloud is about integrating things, it's about being in one place, and that's pretty much the same situation that we are having over here.
Mm-hmm. Raymond?
Well, for me, Cloud for All is actually that we've moved away from the period that we used to have our own devices and do stuff and store stuff on our own devices. And nowadays we all have everything up there. It's the services, it's the data, it's the backup. There is no way you can get around the cloud anymore. So the cloud is for all of us.
And for you?
So for me, I spend a lot of time messaging about how Azure is the open cloud, that it's not about Microsoft. You know, you can deploy anything you like there. And I think that was kind of echoed. I mean, we've been here all week, right? We've seen the number of people that have been rocking up to the different community events. And today for the Azure one, it was just this sea of so many different people. And it can be anything. You can run your Linux stuff up there. You can bring your serverless things in there. If you want to run Node, that's fine. If you want to run .NET, that's fine. Internal systems, external systems, retail systems, video systems. And I think that's quite exciting. So I mean, Paula, you work in security. How's the cloud transformed what you're doing on a daily basis?
And thanks for asking this question actually. So Cloud for All means also increased security, but if cloud of course is done well. So this is really what it's all about here. So you can move to the cloud, but you can be absolutely insecure if you will not do anything about the different types of systems and controls that you have out there for security. So there are plenty of examples that I'm sure that you guys have seen as well, that the company is like, okay, hey, let's go to the cloud because it's new kind of like, but they didn't do much about it. So, but there are also good examples of that someone plans well the migration to the cloud and they're moving their services or part of their services to Azure, and then basically they administer those services from there. So cloud can mean good security, but only if planned well.
So Raymond, I mean, as a developer, have you seen a change in the kind of projects you're working on as cloud grows in importance and prevalence?
Yes, but I'm an IT pro, just to be clear.
Sorry. Well, we're all developers, right? You write scripts, right? You write PowerShell,
Okay,
right?
I write scripts. But that's also a nice part about cloud, that cloud is not for IT pros or developers or database administrators. It's for all of us. And of course, the cloud is a big change in what I'm doing as a job. Mm-hmm. Most of the time I am a consultant, and it's a big shift. Like 5 to 10 years ago, I was helping companies to move to Windows 7, Windows 8, stuff like that. Nowadays, I'm helping companies to move into Azure AD, Office 365, Exchange Online. That's what on top of mind at every organization at this moment. And even if you're moving like to Windows 10, big part of your migration is how do I connect to the cloud first? Ensure that my infrastructure is ready to make that move to the cloud.
Yeah, absolutely. And is that a different skill set from before, or an evolution of what you were previously doing?
For me it's an evolution, but for others it might be a different skill set, because if you were solely focused on what's on that desktop and how that desktop works, it's not enough anymore. You have to know how it integrates and ensure that the integration components are in place, that all the requirements are being met before you start doing the implementation of the new workplace.
And that's true. I think the other thing that we can probably say about Cloud for All is the sort of revolutionizing effect that it has. I mean, Microsoft now has, 52 regions? There are data centers on every continent around the planet. And I think cloud is one of those great components in enabling technology for developing countries and countries that previously wouldn't have had that. So, Paula, I mean, you travel the world as a security
Yeah,
rock star. I mean, do you see that now? Are you working with countries that maybe you weren't before?
Yeah, actually, that's a bit of how you say. We haven't done that many projects in Africa, for example, in the past. Now our team is constantly traveling over there to various countries. I mean, I'm not saying it's surprising because everybody needs to develop, and some of the companies are developed in a very nice way. But a couple of years ago it wasn't like that. Yeah? So cloud definitely helps it. In general, access to information, I would say. Yeah. And what I wanted to add on the top of that is actually cloud provides us a possibility to use a bit of more of a computing power. So in general, anything related with machine learning and generating different portions of data that could help us to make better decisions or to recognize in an intelligent way different types of threats. This is also what cloud means to me. So basically, I would not be able, for example, to recognize with the regular antivirus the tool that, let's say, our team writes, but with the Windows Defender ATP relying on the cloud and the machine learning, you can actually do it. And again, maybe surprising or maybe not, but someone out there writes these algorithms to make these good decisions that, well, there is this threat that just popped up and nobody has seen it before, but because in statistics somewhere out there it does this, and there is a machine learning engaged, that is potentially bad. And in general, this is what we all care about, yeah? So that there is someone out there predicting things that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, I think that's very true, that the availability of certain services in the cloud means now that where before we had to have huge budgets or large estate to be able to put our own high performance clusters in, say, it's now available to all at reasonable cost. So Raymond, has that kind of availability helped you and changed the way you can deliver projects now?
I see in practice that there are two sides on this. What you say is true. There is better access to more data and more processing power from more places in the world. At the same time, I see that, especially in developing countries, change of priority has to happen because those countries have never been being focused on their connectivity. So, for instance, I've been to Suriname, that's where my parents come from, and there is low bandwidth. There is low bandwidth to the rest of the internet. So it's nice that the cloud is there, but there are big challenges for those countries to get connected in a way that they can get all the power out of the cloud that's there, just because they don't have the connectivity yet.
Yes, so I think we were talking earlier this week about how the priorities of the people that we are working with for things like SSL, HTTPS encryption, that kind of stuff, are actually hindering just exactly those audiences that you're talking about, and maybe removing access to certain services. I wonder actually if that sort of ties into the conversation that we had this morning about diversity and inclusivity and that kind of stuff. And what do you think about how we should maybe try and tackle that? Maybe raise awareness for organizations that what they think is good over here is not good over here?
Well, I think the focus should be to help those countries to invest in their infrastructure. Not quite that we should always. Well, of course, we have to develop efficient technologies, but that will not always be helpful enough. The thing is that if we're aiming for an inclusive world, we have to help those countries to be connected in the right way, so that they can be
more productive. Yeah?
Be more productive,
yeah.
And that it will help them to move forward.
Yeah, I'm totally agreeing with you on that. And I'm also always thinking, like, is it good to, because investing in the technology to help to build infrastructure, and why I'm saying I'm agreeing with this, because you are actually giving someone a tool to do something, right?
Exactly.
This is exactly the way I like to help.
Then they can invest in their own knowledge and move forward with what they have.
Absolutely, and cloud gives you like so many types of possibilities, yes, both for developers, IT pros, but also people from sales, marketing, or whatever. They can use these tools out there to be connected with whatever is new. So cloud for all, it's kind of like, it also has this kind of a meaning, yes. But there is a problem that you mentioned, the internet connectivity. Yes. And that's still the case, yeah. So you are in various places, and for example, I mentioned I've been to many places in the underdeveloped countries as well. And internet isn't really the biggest problem over there. Yeah, I wish it was, but it's a different thing. But hopefully that's going to change. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I guess we've whittled on for sort of 10 minutes on what we think Cloud for All is. I tell you what, let's close. If let's re-ask the same question we started with.
Yeah.
If you could pick one word each to say what you think Cloud for All means to you as an aspirational thing, what would you like Cloud to All mean for you? Raymond, what would you say to that one?
Inclusiveness.
I would say quickly because it's 2 words. Connected minds.
Oh, I like that one. And I'd like to say supportive, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. Lovely. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.